Hello, and welcome back to the audiobook series, Emmanuel's Legacy, written and narrated by Natasha Jackson. Chapter 1, Emmanuel's POV. What is time? I questioned as I rolled over, only to be mocked by the digital clock on the nightstand. 5 a.m. A silent tear slid down my cheek as the words of my old friend sang in my ears. Time is the indefinite, continued process of existence. Managing a dark chuckle at the wise words of my late beta, I forced myself to sit at the edge of the bed. As I sat there, taking in the silence of the hotel room, the memories of that hellish night plagued my consciousness. Suddenly, growls began to ripple through my chest as my inner wolf began to grow restless. Get up, you fool! Irene, my wolf snarled. Sitting here won't avenge our pack. I could feel him sharpening his claws on my brain. Cool it, Irene. But before I could even finish my excuse, he cut me off. I've been waiting 174 years to taste that fucking bitch's blood. As he said those words, I began my journey to the small bathroom to clean myself up. Instead of paying attention to his all too familiar bloodlust, my mind went back to the last conversation I had with my dear beta. Ollie, you know damn well that's too polite to describe that shit. I groaned as I slightly laid my head on his wrinkled hand. How much I wished it was me breathing my last breath rather than Oliver. He was a much better person than me. I handled the murder of our pet poorly. For years, he even took care of me, making sure that I ate and bathed. I wanted nothing more than to die alongside my pack, my parents. However, for some reason, Regina denied me that privilege, leaving Oliver to nurse my wounds. Maybe, just maybe, if he felt the same burning pain I endure every day for being forced to become a monster, he would have understood. How would you describe it then? He asked with a smile, even though I could hear pain in his voice. Choosing to answer honestly, I sat up and locked my dull green bloodshot orbs with his lively, bright brown ones. Torture. Flashback. Howls and screams pierced the once peaceful winter night. Oliver and I stood in shock at the edge of the woods as we watched a blur fly across the packed territory. Some noticed what was happening, but none were able to do more than shift before the blur hit them. Everyone that the blur hit dropped to the ground with a heartbreaking howl or scream. This genocide was sudden, and no one knew it was coming, so no one was prepared. When the blur turned our way, it stopped in its tracks. It was a woman. She was white as snow, with dark red hair that matched her blood-stained body. She was staring at me as if her life depended on it. Present day. The flashback ended abruptly when my fist smashed the small mirror over the sink. Let's go, I managed through breathlessness as I stared into the shattered image of my wolf's pitch black eyes and fangs that pierced my lower lip. Thank you for listening to the audiobook, Emmanuel's Legacy, written and narrated by Natasha Jackson. Please tune in next week for episode 3. And let me know if you enjoyed the picture I have painted.